Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and it's our favorite time of the week. The coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves, and axe too, are right on the table in front of me. So let's check them out. Hey everyone, welcome. Apologies in advance, I'll just get that out of the way because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. My throat's not fully cooperating with me. And Thomas is on vacation this week, so I found the only other Thomas in the building to aid. We do have another Thomas in the building, and he's our site photographer. So
all Thomases like images.
It's a prerequisite for the positions. And of course, Josh back here running the switcher.
Hey.
Because we're recording live to tape, so fewer edits involved, and we better hope I can hold it together. First knife, let's go. The K-Bar Slabby. You guys bought us out of these, basically. This actually first hit the site about 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and they were in and out so fast, I didn't even get a chance to hold one until right now. I did hold one final prototype at Blade Show, but this is my first time getting my hands on the final piece. We are restocked, at least at the time we're filming this, so there you go. The K-Bar Slabby. It is the full tang version of the Mark II Fighter, or the classic K-Bar. The 1217 is like the standard version of it. And yes, that's one of the few product number codes I still remember, or do remember. Same pretty basic shape, really. 6.86 inch blade. Same 1095 Crovan high carbon steel that K-Bar does so well with. Flat grind, fuller above that section. We'll call that a saber height flat grind in this case. And the unsharpened swedge. The handle profile, in addition to not being stacked leather, also sees a few changes overall. It's a little bit more complex, a few different more changes than just the standard shape that these stacked leather versions have. We are, forgot, no edits. I just gotta keep going. Injection molded handles here, and a Selsun sheath. We'll get to the sheath in a second. Bolted on, full tang there, as you can see, 5/32 thick. It is, and you have the butt plate here at the back with the additional attachment point drilled through that. The ergos are really good as far as I'm concerned. The biggest part of the swell is near the front, which enables you to choke up, or to have a good choked up position. Same thing with the guard here. That also enables that. We've got no, or a vestigial rear guard in this case, and it's a thicker piece of metal here too, rather than a simple stamped guard that the standard K-Bar comes with. This allows you to use it more for, like survival and outdoor type of stuff, rather than being a strict combat-based knife. And part of the reason for that, I think that they made sure to make this change on this version, is there's a lot of people that'll take the classic K-Bar, which is a combat knife designed for combat, and take it out into the woods and treat it like a pry bar of a survival knife, and can sometimes suffer failures when you push it beyond what it's capable of doing. This thing is going to be stronger for that sort of thing, and more conducive to those types of uses too, thanks to the ergonomic consideration right there. But that feels really good in that choked up position. Tapering at the back, bit of an hourglass, as you can see, and you can choke back quite well actually with that little nub in between my last two fingers. And I won't say it's comfortable to kind of swing this in a choppy grip like so, but it's okay. Like, it feels very secure in any case, and it's not too jabby. Do it enough, yeah, you might have to worry about some hot spots, but it's not the primary purpose of this knife design anyway. But you can kind of do it, which is cool. That's very nice. The sheath is Selsun, whatever the heck that is. I don't know. It's injection molded. Clicks in. Wait, clicked in earlier. Oh, do I have to push the thing there too? There we go. I know what happened. Hang on, it's okay. There is a basically cross bolt safety built into the sheath right here. If I were to push that this way, there we go. Nope. There we go. Say it worked before. Push it that way, I can then not pull it from the sheath. Only when you push that back out the side can you then also not pull it out of the sheath without pushing this switch forward just a little bit right there. That's kind of neat. So really, really positive retention in that sheath. Unfortunately, it does not come with any attachment hardware, however. So you will need to bring something to play from your own collection or buy separately. A tech lock will work. A Civivi T-clip will work as well. We'll leave links to those in the description there. Very inexpensive, those T-clips, fortunately. Plenty of drain ports in this sheath as well, not just at the bottom, but also on the spine and blade side as well. This is a carbon steel. Last thing you want is moisture really sitting on there. Yes, it's coated, which should help with that, but the extra ventilation is probably a very good thing indeed. Price on this knife, didn't mention that yet, $172, which is just a bit more than the standard leather-handled version. All right. Now that I have gotten through with that, aren't you proud of me, guys?
So proud.
Good job. Good job.
The next is a knife that I have also not gotten to hold actually ever, I don't think, and that is the Chris Reeve Pacific right here. We rarely get these in stock, and when they do, they typically fly out pretty quickly. So we're filming this a day ahead of the day it posts. As of right now, we have them in stock. As of tomorrow, I can't promise anything. I should have mentioned that when we showed the Zahn last week as well. Those moved pretty quickly and were in fact sold out before the video could post. So I apologize for not letting you all know that. What do we have here? $375 for this. For that, you get a 6-inch MagnaCut blade, about 3/16 of an inch thick, crown spine here, saber height flat grind as well, partial serrations, and a very, very finely ground swedge here, pretty much a false edge. You could easily sharpen that without any other modifications and have a double-edged blade if you wish. The handles are micarta and feel really good. Interestingly, one of my first fixed blades that I bought way back in the day was a Gerber Big Rock. And it had a handle that was very clearly inspired by this handle right here. But this handle's way better than that ever was. I mean, this feels really, really nice in the hand. This is a Bill Harsey design, if you weren't familiar with it already, which means you've got someone who really, really knows what they are doing. Full stop right there. Man, it feels good. I like the thumb ramp here at the back. You do have a finger choil there that you can use to choke up on if you wish. It is crowned as well to keep it comfortable. That's a little bit less obvious of a utility for that for like choke up work, because normally what I like to use a finger choil for on a fixed blade would be to choke up for use or to help facilitate use there at the heel. But that heel itself is serrated, which this isn't the type of stuff I'd be doing with a serrated edge. So your mileage may vary. Very, very cool. The sheath is robust nylon. It's camo, as you can see, so don't set it down. Where'd it go? Sorry. Comes with two straps right here. These are MOLLE compatible, or you can use it as a belt strap as well, or a belt loop as well. You've got snaps and Velcro on them, so they're not likely to come off too readily. Yeah, lots of attachment options right there. The next knife is very expensive. Just warning you. It is one of the customs that we recently brought back from the New York Custom Knife Show. This is a full custom AD20 from Andrew Demko, and it is not quite $4,000. $39.95. You get a little bit of a break there. And this is really cool. If I had the money, this is, or something close to this, would be the custom Demko AD20 I would buy. I love the blade right here. It is technically a drop point. It's labeled as a clip point on the site, actually, but you can see there's just a hint of a drop right there. I really, really like that. It's also got the full thickness blade. Normally, I like the AD20S models because of the slimmer blade, but to counteract that extra thickness there, this particular knife has a full height hollow grind, keeping the geometry behind the edge thinner, which is the way I like it, and you still have the strength at the spine. MagnaCut steel here, which is incredibly tough for a high edge retention stainless steel. You've got that on the Chris Reeve as well. Handles are Burple titanium. Yes, Burple. I can't even say it. Bronzed purple is what they're calling it. Can't we just call it Blurple? Blurple was fine. Burple.
That's blue purple.
I know, but like this is blue purplish.
He's burp saying purple.
Burple.
It's purple.
It's purple. And you've got the finger grooved variation of the handle. You've also got the shark lock, which is as satisfying today as it was on the first day we ever set our fingers on them. Just feels phenomenal. And despite the weight and thickness, this is not, or size and thickness, this is not as heavy as you would think. It's not lightweight, it's 7 ounces, but honestly, it feels light for its size, I would say, which is a nice thing indeed if you actually want to carry and use the knife like this. I've never carried and used a $4,000 knife, but I probably won't for quite a while either, but I'm sure one of you out there will. I mean, it's a really cool knife. How about this next? We'll go back to some fixed blades. Some EDC-able fixed blades, an EDC-able tactical fixed blade for sure. Toor knives, this is the Cortano W. $275 for this, made in the USA. Everything so far is made in the USA, actually. Blade is just over 3 inches long. You've got CPM M4 steel, which is very tough, but not very stainless. It also is very edge retention-y. Yeah, that makes sense. It holds an edge a long time and is very tough, but it is not a stainless steel. But you do have a Cerakote on here. This is, or sorry, it's not a Cerakote. It's a KG gun coat, which is a very tough coating as well. That toughness of the steel is going to be very nice when you consider how needle-like and acute the tip on this blade gets. I mean, this is a piercer through and through. Thickness, about 5/32 of an inch there. Actually, that's getting closer to 3/16, isn't it? 1875, that's 3/16. Nailed it. So plenty of strength back here, but it's not going to, that thickness is not going to get in the way too much if you're using this for more utilitarian tasks, because it does get so narrow out there near the tip. G10 handles, aggressive texturing right here, finger ring to keep things secure in more tactical scenarios. I guess it's I'm not sure the best tactical way to hold this knife. Feels okay in an inverted grip right here, but it does feel better to me in the standard forward grip, utilizing that thumb ramp right there. The sheath is Kydex with the soft coating on the inside to protect the blade from scratches, as well as keep it quiet. You'll notice you didn't hear a whole lot right there, so it's not rattly at all. Again, no attachment options here. So if you want to carry it on the belt, a CVVT clip or a tech lock, or if you want to pocket carry it, an ulti clip would be a good option for you. Also from Toor this week, another EDC-able item, not a fixed blade. This is labeled as a pocket pry bar, but it's a bit more of a kind of pocket prodder, I would say. This is the hard drive. 95 bucks, titanium with a pocket clip here, and it's lightweight, it's comfortable to hold, and it's not like a tip like the fixed blade we just looked at, but it does come to a very crisp edge right there at the end. This honestly doesn't feel like a pry bar as much as a puncturing tool, quite honestly. But it is a pretty cool puncturing tool at that. Very lightweight too. What are we dealing with here? 1.27 ounces. So if you're looking for a titanium Kubotan style thing, this could be your thing for a cool price of $95. Next up, one more EDC thing. This is the Prometheus Design Works SPD BOB, the brake or beer tool. 75 bucks right here. A bit of a multi-tool actually. Weight on this is 0.78 ounces. Comes with the finger ring, ball bearing at the one end for glass breaking, so you can be a hoodlum, do that sort of thing. It's got an O2 wrench right here. Actually, what kind of wrench is that? It's not O2, is it? It is an oxygen tank wrench. I stand corrected. Apologies all around. We've also got a 10 millimeter wrench here, so don't set it down or you're going to get it lost. Bottle opener right here, and a 1/4 inch bit driver right here, and you could really put a pretty severe amount of torque on that if you needed to. Finger it like so, put your bit in there, and you could really bear down on, as long as you can maintain a fairly flat, hand position. Or an extender actually could fit in there. And then you could really wrench on some stuff or twist on some stuff. There you go. $75 for that little doodad. Keeping the EDC tool thing going, but with a fixed blade now. Yeah, I think thematically we're still okay. 2 USA-made knives from BIGiDESIGN. Their folders and their first fixed blade design have all been imported up to this point. We've got some USA options now. First is the new design, the Signal. $250 for this. You've got a 3 3/8 inch blade, a G10 handle with a full length handle, so it's not, the handle is kind of bigger than the blade for good reason. You can really maximize the power of it. Nitro V steel, holds an edge pretty well, is very, very tough, and of course is a stainless steel. It's not going to hold an edge like MagnaCut does, but it's still a very good option. $250 for this knife. Now they do market this as kind of the go anywhere adventure outdoorsy style knife. At least that's the way their advertising has kind of struck me. I'd hesitate to recommend it really for like heavy use outdoors stuff because the handles are pretty thin. Now that's a good thing if you're carrying this every day and just need the strength of utilitarian fixed blade design. But if I'm going to be taking this outside, whittling with it, carving with it, doing any of that, like that outdoor stuff, a thicker handle would definitely be an advantage there. So maybe that's just not what it's best at. It would certainly carry very, what's the word I'm looking for? Flatly on one's person. So it'd be easy to maintain a low profile with it. Yeah, feels good. The sheath, here it is Kydex. It's actually set up as it comes for pocket carry with this clip right there. It is rather large of a thing for pocket carry, I would say. I mean, that's, how much clearance would you need if you were doing that? I mean, that is an 1/8 inch shy of a 6 inch depth right there. So you know your pockets, you know what you're gonna need to do. Right-handed only in this configuration, but it actually ships with a second sheath that has the little hardware here on the left-hand side, or the holes to accept the clip hardware on the other side as well. So that's pretty cool. If you want some other attachment method, let's check out, let's see if a tech lock will work. Won't take tech lock hole spacing. Let me see if a T-clip will do it. A T-clip would do it because you've got the slot there to make a difference. What about a small tech lock? The small tech lock has been discontinued, unfortunately, but let's see if you've got one kicking around, it won't work either. So there you go. Ulti-clips should also work, but you've already got a pocket clip attachment here, so you might not need an ulti-clip. Next up, we have a new version of their first fixed blade knife, USA-made versions of the Lookout. This is in natural canvas micarta, and I should mention it's also available in black G10, and the Signal is also available in natural canvas micarta. But back to the Lookout, this is the same price as the Signal right here, $250, even though it's smaller, but you do get an upgrade to MagnaCut steel on this one. So you've got that, that most coveted or pretty much still the most sought after high performance powder metal steel on the market these days. Just over 2.5 inches on the blade, straight clip point as opposed to the more subtle drop point of the Signal right there. Thickness is a little bit thinner. We're looking like about 1/8 of an inch right there. Still slicey enough with enough of a height to the blade to make that work, and just more nimble overall, I would say. It also comes with the Kydex sheath with that attachment hardware, and the second sheath is included. There you go, you got that on the back. I haven't sized this for other attachment methods yet either. Let me check that out real quick. I mean, a big tech lock on this would be pretty amusing due to the size. But a big tech lock or a T-clip would work. I doubt a small tech lock would work. No, it will not. And then anything else using a combination of holes and slots or just slots should also work on that. You can also carry that pretty easily as a neck knife, I would say. Yeah. Y'all know I love a pocket fixed blade, right? Probably. Next up, one more thing from Big Eye, the Sancho pen we have in stock now. This is a collaboration with Ben Peterson of knife designer for We and Civivi, as well as his own brand, Knafs, of course. Famous YouTubian in the knife sphere for sure. You just turned a fan on over there.
I didn't do anything.
I don't know what that was. We'll pretend nothing happened.
We just
It'll be
needed to cool off.
Titanium or brass available, $120 for this. First trick up its sleeve, toothpick and tweezers right there on the back side of the pen, which is pretty cool. You can also see the robust titanium pocket clip right there, and it is a twisty cap. And even non-pen people may be able to recognize what's going on right here. This pen is designed to use Ben Peterson's favorite pen refill, if you can call it that in this case. His favorite pen to write with has long been the cheap as nails Bic Crystal. For whatever reason, Ben is a big fan of that. And as such, he wanted a premium pen that could use it. So they give it to you right here. I mean, I remember messing around with like just this in school like so many times way back in the day. So it brings back a lot of memories. And it's got this, let's hope I would put this back on the right way. Yeah, there we go. It's got this little metal collar right here to make sure it works with the higher tech stuff right here. It's pretty cool. There are O-rings right there to keep this from untwisting too quickly on you. But yeah, real convenient to get to your Bic Crystal and get what you need written. Untwist and there you go. Let me know in the comments. Are you cool with that refill, or do you like more premium stuff? Without like dogging the Bic Crystal here, of course. Might be cool if they did an adapter at some point on that to use other refills too. That'd be cool because it's a really cool pen. The toothpick and tweezers on that are a real cool thing as well. All right, let's go from a pen to a pen knife, shall we? Call this a pen knife. Sure. The Baby Doc is, of course, the vault pattern knife of the year from Case Knives, which means they're making it this year, and then they're not going to make it next year. They're going to bring back a different pattern to make for 2026. But for 2025, we've got this guy. This is dark red jigged bone. Very nice. You've got the American flag shield on there, and you've got the two blades, well, one blade and the doctor's spatula essentially right there, which you could describe mostly as like a pill sorter would be like the historical use for it, but it can also just be a little widgie bar for manipulating things without messing with the sharpened edge of your knife blade. Case is true sharp stainless here, and flat bottomed, of course. Again, the historical reason for that would be pill crushing right there. We wouldn't be doing anything like that nowadays, though, would we? $75 for this. We've also got another cover right here. This is really cool. This is a Trapper for 85 bucks. Color infusion handles right here, and the pattern is the making a case for America right there. That's pretty cool. Like it talks about Case's American manufacturing as well as being a play on their name, which I think that's just fun, right? And the price isn't too bad either for some of the fancier Trappers out there. They can sometimes be a lot more expensive than this. Two blades, long spay and long clip, of course. It's a great classic case knife pattern with a cool handle. Ooh, it says handcrafted on the back too. That's cool, in USA. I like it. How about a more modern case, the Bridgeline series. This is the Longhouse, a new variant for the lineup. $190 for this. You've got a 20 CV blade, which is of course very different than the simpler stainless or carbon steels they use on the slip joints, but it's still made by the same people in the same building as the slip joints in Pennsylvania, Bradford, Pennsylvania to be exact. We've got a DLC coating on that harpoon style clip point right there. Tons of edge retention, really cool vibes to go along with the black aluminum handles with, I almost said bourbon, denim micarta handles right there. Bourbon. Nested liner lock, deep carry pocket clip, single-sided in this case, and a top flipper. It's not a front flipper, which means I'm allowed to do it, because I've sworn off front flippers just as a form of protest. But it front flips pretty well. Ball bearings in the pivot. It's modern knife design in a way that these classic knife designs aren't. They're classic for good reason, but It's a whole different ball game to make a knife like this compared to a classic slip joint. So it's cool to see Case over these last couple of years having stepped up the game in that arena and give us stuff like this. All right, most affordable knife on the table coming up. This is from Browning. This is the 2025 SHOT Show edition of the Buckmark Slim. And there's a few versions of this, and I've never actually held them before. They're all about the same price, $29. And the blade, 3.13 inches, D2 steel, hollow grind on it. Injection molded handles. This one has a cool kind of a stone-washed red thing going on. It was red, and then they like put black on it and then tumbled it to kind of give this cool look. Reminds me a little bit of our old Battle Wash exclusive bug out we had at one point, but it's more of a deeper burgundy in this case. You still have the Browning logo here and the orange pivot collar. That's kind of the nod to like their kind of core market, I would say, which leans into the more like mainstream hunting side of things rather than like EDC niche knife enthusiasts like we typically are here. But this is a knife at this price, $29, that I'm having a hard time like making a case against for anyone out there, quite honestly. It flips nicely. You've got the flipper or thumb studs to make that happen. You've got a reversible deep carry clip. You've got thin and slicey blade geometry. You've got a good tool steel like D2 to hold an edge a really long time. 29 bucks. That's a good deal, you guys. I like it. Check it out. Great for any and all family activities. Probably. One more fixed blade on the table. This is the Condor Woodspirit series. This is the tracker blade shape. There is also a kind of an upswept clip point style blade. That is the Woodspirit Hiker. This one is 14C28N stainless steel. A bit over 4 inches long, $132, just under $132. You've got a wood handle here with this burned checker mark on the front, pattern on the back. You've got the condor and some mountains and some adhesive residue here. Apologies for that. We'll clean that up before we put it back in the box. Ergos are pretty nice. It's kind of a blocky handle, but not in like a like brick-like manner. It's got enough contour where you need it to fill the hand pretty nicely. I think it works well enough for my slightly larger than average hands, but I think average and smaller sized hands especially will be well appointed with this particular handle design, because it's not a huge thing, as you can see right there. In a way, that kind of brings it back to like earlier turn of the century, 100, 125 years ago, fixed blades like the Marbles knives and stuff back in those days. The Marbles, the Woodcraft, for example. Woodspirit, eh? They would have really like dimensions kind of like this with shorter handle and Skinner style blades. It's cool. In a way, it's kind of a throwback. I like it. The spacers there are pretty nice. The sliciness of this blade shape is going to be really nice, and a hunting capacity, of course. Maybe that's why they called it tracker, not Skinner. But yeah, good for camp, good for food prep, good for hunting. The sheath here is actually extra interesting. Bit of a departure for Condor. You've got a belt clip here on the back. And I do say belt clip. This doesn't strike me as a pocketable type of thing, but it's actually ambidextrous. Pop it in there, bring the snap loop around, and snap it shut from the front. There you go. And then there's your package. Push that down, flip that out of the way. There you go. And it goes in either way. Same thing. That's pretty cool. Check it out if you want. It's time for my favorite word of the day, you guys. Longtime viewers of this channel know, in addition to me liking pocket fixed blades, I also like Nessmuk knives. Speaking of things from 125 plus years ago, plus in this case, I just love the swoopiness and the nice lines of a Nessmuk blade. But that fixed blade was only part of the trio of tools Nessmuk was kind of known for carrying. One of them was a double bit axe, very much like this one right here. Indeed, this is the Condor Nessmuk double bit axe. About $102 for this, and we have our good friend Joe Flowers to thank for this making it into production. It is modeled after the sketches in Nessmuk's writings, the drawings in his writings. Maybe I'm the only one amused by that, but hey. The thing with those are, no one knows 100%, as far as I know, the exact dimensions of the things he sketched out. We just have a general consensus, but this is very cool to see. And the price is really good too. Like, this matches the aesthetic so well. And even though I have a big Nessmuk knife collection, I did have to have a double bit axe, you know, to display along with them. And I had to spend a good chunk of change back in the day to get one, because not a lot of people made one. This would have been a nice thing for a younger David right here. But anyway, great small pack axe. Nessmuk was known as kind of the father of ultralight camping before it even had a name, because he was kind of a small, often sick gentleman. So he needed to be able to, you know, not have to carry too much to do what he enjoyed best, which was heading out into the woods. And he described the way he would use a axe like this. He would basically sharpen each side to different specifications. One side would be thinner for more acute and sharp work, especially small stuff getting in there for detailed carving. And because of the shape of this, you actually can do that without the back side of the bit like getting at you, which is a really nice thing. Because that's always the worry, of course. If this is, you know, beard comes down too far, if it's too big or too pointy there, you wouldn't be able to do this sort of thing. But because of the shape, it works. The other side would be a more blunt angle, for lack of a better term, or a less acute angle for chopping roots, you know, things in the ground, you know, rib cages, you know, animal processing, that sort of thing, where you might be a little less kind to the edge itself. You could have both right there on a handy camp hatchet. The mask on this is that. Slide the shaft through, you've got a retention button at the top, and you've even got a belt loop that swivels. Very cool. All right, a few more folders now. We've got the newest rollout of the Crew Carta version of of a Spyderco knife. In this case, the Native Chief. It gets the natural micarta handles and crew wear blade steel overall. $232 thereabouts for this one. Blade's just over 4 inches long. You've got very nice taper out towards the tip, so kind of similar in some ways to that Toor we looked at earlier. It gets really needle-like out there towards the tip. Thick enough to stand up to some heavier use, however. Again, especially, like that Toor, you've got a steel here that's known for toughness. I'd say the M4 is tougher than your crew wear, sure, but crew wear is also known for being quite tough. Holds an edge very well, of course, not stainless, however, in this case. The micarta handles give you a bit more of a rugged feel overall, in addition to a little bit of texture, because it's kind of a matte finish here. Gives you grip and vibes. Actually, I really like the way it looks next to this Nessmuk. That's why I put it there, after all. It's also a large knife that's not going to weigh you down. 3.7 ounces for a 4-inch blade, even without like ultralight handles here, and with a full length backspacer here for that mid-mounted lockback. So that's, you know, more metal to contend with, and yet it is still a big, easy knife to carry. 4-position pocket clip, ambidextrous opening hole, a very ambidextrous lock, of course, as well with that mid-mounted lockback. Good option for anyone who wants a lot of sliciness on something that, you know, you don't have to baby too much if you're really needing to work it hard when the situation calls for it. I say that, but that doesn't even feel quite right to say either, because you do have real slicey geometry overall going on. It's a good, larger knife design. I'm revising it. It's less about heavy use, even though it has that vibe. It's more precise, but more strong than other versions of the Native Chief. Does that make sense? Whether it does or not, I'm moving on. Next up, another popular kind of sub-variant or sub-line of Spyderco, sub-configuration, that's what we're going to go with. Injection molded cobalt blue handle scales and Spy 27 blade steel, their proprietary blade steel, on the Endura 4 lightweight now. 127.50 for this knife, 3.8 inches, and again, a little bit thick, but nice and tapering towards the tip. A little bit more of a robust tip, just a bit than the Native Chief. Steel's not quite as tough, however, as the crew wear. Anyway, 3.32 ounces for, actually, let's compare the sharpened edge. Just a little bit less on the Endura right here. 127 bucks too, so a fair bit cheaper. I mean, we're dealing, you know, 100 bucks cheaper, just over 100 bucks cheaper for this one. So you have to decide how much that little bit extra edge is worth it to you. Full length handle here, just like on the Native Chief. Just like on the Native Chief, you've also got a 4-position pocket clip and a mid-mounted lockback. You've also got the David Boy dent on this version, which makes it a little easier to find if you're not looking at it, just running your fingers over it. Also makes it a little less susceptible to accidental over-squeezing of the handle and accidental disengagement. Not that that's a big problem with most lockbacks, but hey, extra peace of mind is always a fun thing. You don't get Spyderco's signature guarded finger choil, however. So, you know, if you like to get like right up behind the edge for that that heel cutting, like I was talking about earlier with that Chris Reeve, you are going to be better served with the Native Chief in the lineup between these two. Anyway, the matchup between these two. Here's a question. How much is a Native Chief lightweight in Spy 27? Wait, that's the S110V. We don't want that one. They're both kind of blue handles, so I got a little too excited. 153 and some change for the Native Chief lightweight, which is this shape, but you know, this configuration. So 20, what's that, 20, 30 bucks more? Lost my tab here. Yeah, somewhere right there. We'll go with that. There you go. One more Spyderco. We have got a sprint run of the MicroJimbo. S30V blade with the black DLC and the pink G10 handles right here. So this is, I believe, one of the versions that raises money for cancer research. I'm just confirming that. Yes, it is. So normally I would say the more of these you buy, which means the more of these we buy from Spyderco, and the more money Spyderco donates to cancer research, but this is a sprint run, so it's still only going to be a finite number of these. Top of that, it is the MicroJimbo that we know and love at this point. 2.5-inch blade, Wharncliffe shape, great small utility blade with a very acute tip and yet strong cutting potential, especially with a just enough handle there, even for my slightly larger than average hands, to get a full 4-finger grip on the knife. 2-position pocket clip. You've got a finger-safe closing mechanism with the compression lock right there. Extra bit of inherent safety that I always appreciate. And very easy to flick open and closed if you don't want to use the thumb hole. Or if you don't want to thumb it, you could do the reverse flick as well. Very cool little knives. Less like tailored to, you know, close quarters combat, like hand-to-hand fighting that the standard Yojimbo is, this being the MicroJimbo, but it still carries a bit of that DNA in a more manageable size. Full flat grind on this as well, rather than the hollow grinds on the larger versions of the knife. All right, I hear you. We got some less expensive knives to end the day with, or end the video with. This is the Orthodox V2 from Artisan Cutlery, taking a previously successful premium model that they've done, bringing it down to a more accessible price point, just under $45 for this knife. You've got a 3.5-inch blade. You've got RPM 9 steel, which is a spray form version of a 9CR series steel, meaning edge retention for this price range is going to be good, and it's going to be tougher than that standard version of the stainless steel, thanks to the spray form makeup of how this steel was made. Helps it, you know, stand up to a little bit rougher handling. And the blade here is pure straight razor. It's got the look, it's got the crown spine that most true straight razors come with, and it's even got a very fine hollow grind, which I don't think the premium versions had. I believe those were flat ground. This, very finely hollow ground. It is a completely straight edge. Yeah, you could shave with it if you wanted to, but it's not really made or intended for that, I would say. This is a cool EDC knife. A couple different flavors of handle are available. This is, of course, the Jade G10, or they call it Nature Green G10 on the website. So don't search for Jade, I guess, if you want to look for this one. We've got an inset liner lock for security. We've got a deep carry pocket clip, a very deep carry pocket clip, actually, sticking out just past the handle edge, so it keeps it very, very out of sight, out of mind. When it is in the pocket, it is reversible as well. One opening method here, flipper tab with ball bearings in the pivot, ace action, I would say. Can we say ace action if it's not a giant mouse, however?
Yes.
I think you just did.
I guess we can. Last but not least, we have the Snakebird from Bestech. I don't know why that name struck me as amusing right now, but it just kind of did. Snakebird. I'm just imagining like a snake hurtling through the air. At which point, if I saw that, I would go, is Joe Flowers near? Speaking of our good buddy. These are all just under $60. There are several versions, including a Jade G10. This is a green and black linen micarta on this one, however. I think it looks really ace. It has a bit of a higher polish or higher sheen to this particular material. I'm not sure how the others in the lineup compare, but this one feels nice. It doesn't feel slippery. There's enough other things going on with the handle outline that it doesn't feel like it's about to slip out of my hand in any case. Just over 3.5-inch blade. I would say that's a modified Wharncliffe, even though the site says sheepsfoot at the moment. 14C28N blade steel, which, we did talk about that already on that Condor. So you already know what I'm going to say. So I won't say it again. Deep carry pocket clip with reversibility and a button lock for opening and closing, which means lefties can use it too quite easily. You got finger safe closing action and wrist flicking of the opening and of the closing can be achieved. And thumb studs if you don't want to do the wrist flick thing going on. Action's pretty good. It's got a nice detent and a nice snap to it. And due to the size of it, maybe when it rests into the home open position, it's got a really good kind of solid feel in the hand when it kind of thwacks into place. I like that. Yeah, got some style here with this knife for sure. You've got bigger knife capability, especially with that blade shape right there. You could really push some heavier cuts when you need to. Yeah, check out how the thickness of the handle is right there. Not a crazy thin thing. Fills the hand pretty nicely for some of that types of work. There we go. Made it through. I didn't even have to drink any of my tea to make it through. Oh, that feels good though. Anyway, that's all we've got for today, folks. Let me know what you thought of the knives down in the comments. Don't leave more than one. That'd be great. And let me know what you thought of our lack of editing this week. There we go. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description, of course, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or the option for Sezzle at checkout if some of these more expensive knives would be more palatable to you if you could break up payments into, I think it's four easy chunks. Or as Mitch Hedberg, rest in peace, might have said, 3 easy payments and 1 not so easy one. Anyway, I won't go verbatim with what he said in the bit. That's all for today, folks. All of that stuff I just said, that's the sign off. See you next time.